Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Vibe Show. And today we have Tim Kelly with us. Tim is a real estate investor and educator, a best-selling author, speaker, high-performance coach, a drummer, the VP of Education for ADPI, and recently separated from the U.S. Navy as a Chief Petty Officer after 15 years of service. First of all, congratulations. And then thanks for your service for 15 years. And welcome to my show. I'm super excited to have you with me today.
Binky, thank you so much. I appreciate the intro and I'm excited to be here and it's an honor. So thank you.
I'm super excited to learn about your real estate journey. But let's start with my favorite question first. Tell us where you are today, personally and professionally. How do you see yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Currently live in Pensacola, Florida, and that was my last duty station. I served for 15 and a half years. So I ended up here as my last duty station was here at Naval Air Station, Pensacola. Most of my time is spent educating other past and present military members on how to create financial freedom through buying and holding real estate in America and buying more of America, in which they fight so hard for each and every day. And so that's kind of the main focus. And I'm, also investing, doing deals, just growing the portfolio, and also doing one-on-one high performance coaching. I'm just a passionate coach. I love helping people one-on-one just break through all the barriers that come with entrepreneurship and growing and successfully investing. And yeah, so that's where I'm at this point in time, personally and professionally.
Tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up?
Yeah. I grew up right outside of Chicago. All my family is still there. My favorite city in the world. That's where my heart is, and that's where I grew up. And then joined the Navy, and the Navy boot camp is like literally 10 or 15 minutes down the street from where I grew up, which is pretty funny. And then that's when I was 21, I joined the Navy and kind of been away from Chicago ever since. And I try to go back there at least once or twice a year, every year, to see family and just to experience Chicago and stuff like that. But yeah, grew up right outside of Chicago.
So how did you join the Navy? Like there was some background like from the family, or how did you learn about Navy, or what made you decided to go into Navy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I was kind of just after high school, I did go to college and it just didn't make sense. I didn't take it seriously. I kind of partied and dropped out after 2 semesters and kind of went from job to job and then started playing music and thought I was going to be playing music and drumming, for a career. Then I'm like, man, this isn't working. And then, my family, I didn't have too much family. I had one, my godfather was in the Coast Guard, and I looked in the Coast Guard. That didn't work out. And then one of my best friends was doing like the Marines. And so I kind of went with him, and we were going to join the Marines, and that didn't work out. And then kind of went next door to the Navy recruiting office to see what options they have. And they definitely enticed me with some special forces and Navy SEAL type dreams and vision. And that's what I did. I kind of went in, contracted SWCS, Special Warfare Combatant Crewman, which is like Navy SEAL support. So that's kind of what enticed me to join the Navy at that point. 3 months later I was in, and that's kind of what led me to today.
Wow. So what was that journey like in Navy, when you're serving? You served 15 years. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's just incredible
there.
experiences. I mean, traveled the world multiple times, just saw some incredible places, just the relationships that I established. Such a small percentage of the population will ever experience military life and deployments and loss and all these different things. But with that comes some incredible, characteristic traits and things that you learn and things that just are embedded in your DNA that transition very, very well in investing and in business. And that's why I absolutely love, working and coaching and encouraging past and present military members on their journey to financial freedom, because it's just we're working with them. We speak our own language, and that transition has been amazing for me, and helping so many military members that are vets or families past and present just create financial freedom in their lives. And it's amazing.
When did you learn about this term financial freedom? I just wondering, you've been in Navy and then financial freedom, and then you landed in real estate. Would love to hear about that journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I was actually on a deployment in 2014 and I just brought a stack of books just to read. And I always had a genuine curiosity about personal finance and just building wealth, and didn't really have a whole lot of real estate knowledge at that point. I owned a home and I actually was, with my VA loan, being in the military, 0% down loan. And I actually was house hacking and renting out one of my bedrooms before I even knew what house hacking was. And then I just kept seeing this pattern. I read all these books. I kept seeing this pattern of, investing in real estate and building wealth and cash flow. That's when I discovered, the whole rich dad, poor dad mindset. And then I got off that deployment and kind of just dove in to the whole rich dad, poor dad, journey, and got a lot of coaching and experience and mentorship in real estate. I decided real estate made sense for me. And I kind of just, those books kind of just encouraged me to just get off that deployment and just learn as much as I possibly could in my personal time. And because of that, it just motivated me to just create a path and start building an empire of real estate that where I could just, move towards financial freedom, and build generational wealth for my family through real estate investing.
So before you left the Navy, you already decided what you wanted to do after the deployment because you read the Rich Dad Poor Dad. Wow, that's a great story. So one question for you. When you were in Navy, what skill set you acquired that helped you in your real estate journey, or what transferable skills that you brought into your real estate experience?
Man, that's such a good question. I mean, there's really, really, really so many. I have to just list a couple. It's, mostly just like grit and resilience. As entrepreneurs, we have to solve a lot of problems. We got to be really gritty and resilient. But if anything else, like, leadership and teamwork and team building, there's so many things, especially in commercial and multifamily. It's all based on a team and a partnership, and your ability to work with the team and be cohesive and be resourceful and be intuitive and, take initiative. And just like, there's so many traits that the military teaches you that are kind of embedded into your DNA, that transition very well. So I know you said one, but I mean, probably grit and resilience, and then teamwork and leadership are probably the few that I have to mention. And there's definitely more, but those are probably the top.
Let me ask you this. Being in Navy, you learn all this, the leadership qualities, the grit, the resilience, and also being resourceful. I think being resourceful is the number one trait that you need to have being in real estate, because the more resourceful you are, the more you're going to connect with people, the more successful you will be. But before we go there, let me ask you this. How did you acquire all this skill set? Like in Navy, there might be a certain discipline that you have to follow that completely shifts your mind. So how can, outside of Navy, we can create some kind of regime for ourselves to follow that and get to that, mental status or that mindset?
Yeah. I mean, who we are, 5 years from now or 10 years from now is a result of what you read and who you hang out with, And so what, like, you could create whatever you want, as long as you kind of are reading and getting the education in, and you're investing in yourself and investing in your own personal development to grow into what you want to become and to achieve that vision. But you're going to get ideas and education from books and podcasts and resources and stuff like that. But the people that you're hanging out with, that you are connecting with on a daily basis, and your tribe, your group, your mastermind of people, and those are going to be directly influencing you. And you have absolutely an average of all those people, whatever ideas they have, whatever passion and vision and future that they want, you are going to be an average of that. Right. So it's really all based on the books you read, the content you read, and how you spend your time, of course, right, and your habits. But then who you're hanging out with, that will all result in kind of what your future will look like.
I love it when you said create whatever you want. Absolutely. And as long as we understand that we have the ability to create whatever we want, we can create basically anything. And the second thing you said is read the books, hang out with the right crowd or the like-minded people, what you wanted to become, and also listen to the podcast. But sometimes doing all these things, we cannot break out of our limitations because everybody, has a set pattern maybe that we just acquired early on through all the conditioning that we got from the society, from the parents, from the friends. And we never get out of that. We are, kind of set in a pattern. So we are following that pattern throughout our life, no matter what we do, no matter how many books we read sometimes. So any suggestions there, how to see the pattern and then, have that realization, oh God, I'm doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. How do I break that pattern and create a new world for myself?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, it's only understandable that we as entrepreneurs trying to establish a legacy, build a legacy, leave something, worth fighting for behind. It's just, you're gonna have struggles. You're gonna have times of cloudiness, self-doubt. Like, this is all part of the process. And for me, I mean, there's still seasons where I'm just like, what am I doing? And man, I don't feel like I'm worth anything. I feel like I'm worthless. And so there's seasons, but what truly helps me is understanding how the most successful people think and what their daily habits are, right? And how they behave, how they spend their time. The cool thing is, this is what is written in books and on podcasts. Like, you interview very successful people and you interview them and talk about their life, their journey, what they do, how they spend their time. All this information is out there in books. So the more you realize, like, the most successful people, they're not different. They just have different habits. They spend their time different. They focus their energy differently. They have different vision and different mindset. Like, you have the ability to achieve that. You have the ability to accomplish whatever you want. And it's small things like just being able to see it and visualize it and having a positive mental attitude and a belief that you are able to manifest what you see. If you see that I will be able to achieve this, be able to develop this property, be able to, have a general partnership stake in this property, whatever it is, like, being able to visualize it and see it. That's one thing that successful people do that a lot of people who struggle do not do. They are able to visualize and scientifically, like, I don't want to get into all this because I'm not the right person to talk, but your reticular activating system, if you think about it, if you think and visualize it, like, scientifically it's proven, you have a far, far higher chance of actually accomplishing those things in life. And so very successful people realize that. So that's why in the morning, like the morning routine, the journaling, the meditation, like the visualization and affirmations are so important. You tell yourself you're successful, you're bold, you're charismatic, you're optimistic, you're whatever, all those important affirmations. The affirmations and visualizations are so important. So to back up and really answer your question is, figure out and start learning how the most successful people and the highest performers think, operate, spend their time, and just do those things. Just, there's no secret. It's really not a secret. It's how you spend your time and the habits that you have each day that will really result in how you think, your self-doubt, and your ability to like really conceptualize that you can go out there and get after it. But you have to have some kind of confidence, which comes from learning and competence, right?
Yeah, get that switch flipped. That's about it, right?
Absolutely. That's it. That's your solution. That's your secret.
That's so true. Because thing is, average person just like create like 20,000 thoughts, right? In a minute or second. I don't recall what the time frame. Yeah. But if you can just, strategize those thoughts and then, or maybe have less thoughts, give some room in your brain, you might be able to create something more meaningful for you. Wow, that's very exciting to hear your knowledge on that. So next question I'm going to ask you is, tell me about your real estate journey now. Let's talk about that. So once you got started, and I know today you're very, very successful. So let's start with your first acquisition. How did that go and your first raise?
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2011, I didn't know anything about real estate. Just wanted to buy a home with my VA loan. Thought it was cool. You can get a home with 0% down And we kind of bought it with the intention of, it's a really nice neighborhood. The house needs some love. We'll move in, and over time we'll just rehab everything. So kind of like a live and flip, right? And that's what we did. And in that process, we did the house hack. And without even knowing what house hacking was, it was one of my friends who just rented out the bedroom. Then when I was on deployment, we had another person in the bedroom, and they paid most of our mortgage. So I thought it was cool, which again, when I read all those books on the deployment, it's like real estate just made sense. And I kept seeing this pattern. So I kind of dove in, and I got all the education off when I got off that deployment, invested a lot in myself and coaching and mentorship. And I kind of just went horizontal across all the different ways you could make money and generate income and create passive income and build wealth through real estate. And there's a lot of different asset classes and strategies out there, from single family flipping, wholesaling, BRRRR, to small multifamily, wholesaling, flipping, and BRRRR, and buy and hold, and then into commercial, multifamily, all these different things. And it made sense. The house hacking thing made sense to me. So I knew I wanted to get a fourplex, live in one unit, rent out the other three. And multifamily was always just made so much more sense to me. Get as many doors as you can under one roof. And so while I was learning, I was dabbling in wholesaling, try to figure out the single families didn't make sense to me. So I went straight for large multifamily. The more I learned about it, the more I honed in on it, and I said no to everything else. So, I mean, I kind of made a decision. 6 months later, ended up buying the month that I actually got here and transferred here from my last duty station. I closed on a 4-unit property, but then I knew I wanted the larger deal. So 6 months later, I closed on a 42-unit apartment complex with some partners. And, that's with no experience. I just learned and educated myself, invested in myself, surrounded myself with the right people. And I just figured out how you're able to get into these large deals with little to no experience and really little capital as well. So yeah, that was the first deal. I kind of did a fourplex. 6 months later, I did a 42-unit. And from there, it was just mobile home communities and apartment communities, which many we've gone full cycle on. And so, yeah, we're just at this point. I know you wanted to back up and talk about the first raise, but did I answer all your questions there?
Yes, you did. But let me ask you this. When you went from 4 units to 42 units in 6 months, in between that time frame, did you join any mentorship program? How did that happen? That transition from 4 units to 42 units. That was in a very short time as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think before I got here, I made the decision that I wanted to do commercial and multifamily. So that's where I got involved in a mentorship program and got the education and I dialed in on commercial and multifamily. So the minute I moved here, I knew I wanted to do apartments and the larger commercial, but I also wanted to take advantage and get another property to live in and house hack. So the fourplex was kind of just was my personal living situation to make sure I could just get a house hack. And I actually ended up using a 203K FHA loan to rehab a fourplex. And that worked out really well. Now it's a nicely cash flowing 4-unit property. But I knew I had my sights set on that. And to go to 42, I already had the education, I already knew I needed to do it. But what really kind of stood out for me is the elevator pitch. And I was able to share with people exactly what I was doing, what I was looking for, and how I could add value to deals. And basically being able to very clearly articulate who you are, what you do, what you can bring to the table, and then what you're looking for, and sharing that with as many people as possible with excitement and passion. I mean, that is how you could quickly scale up without any experience. If you have the education and you could speak to professionals and you could speak the language, it doesn't really matter if you have done a bunch of deals or not. If you sound like you know what you're doing and you're confident with your criteria, you can speak the language, you'll be able to find partners that you could resonate with. You'll be able to find brokers that will take you seriously. You'll be able to find investors that will believe in you. But obviously you have to have the belief in yourself first. And that comes with just education and just, being bold and taking action. It's not like you have to take massive action. But I think those were a lot of, contributed to how I was able to do that.
And also you can only articulate if you have the clarity, and the clarity comes again with the awareness, with the knowledge. And you said very good thing about the elevator pitch. So you need to have very crisp elevator pitch. So can you tell us about your elevator pitch a little bit more?
Yeah. So just to let you know, this is the elevator pitch that I've used for a while now. It goes like this. Hey, my name is Tim. My partners and I are currently syndicating and investing in affordable housing and workforce housing in markets with a predictable path of progress. And we are dialing in and honing in on apartment communities, mobile home communities, storage facilities, and RV parks, where we love to give our investors incredible double-digit returns. So we're always looking for partners and we're always looking for deals. How do you want to collaborate today? What resonates with you? You know, it's some sort of that. That's like the foundation of usually what I'll always say. And whether I'm able to go in front of a room like a RIA meeting, or I'm on stage or something, I could articulate that. Or whether I'm just having a one-on-one conversation with somebody that says, hey, well, what do you do? What's your story? It's that. And being able to just clearly explain, nothing complicated, just so it's like if you have a 5-year-old son, daughter, niece, nephew, like you have to say it so clearly that they can understand it. You know, we call it Barney style. Like, have it so simple, so clear that it's so easy that anybody can understand it. And to me, just that, well, that right there, if you don't have a clearly defined elevator pitch, that will help you level up, you know. And because you have to have conversations with people, you got to connect with people in the industry, you got to let other people know what you have going on, because there are people out there that want to partner with you, want to invest with you, they just don't know you and don't know what you could offer, right?
Exactly.
So dialing in on that elevator pitch will help people take you seriously, even with little to no experience, and put you in a completely different ballgame.
Okay, so let's talk about your first syndication deal, your first raise. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was that 42 unit deal. It was here, got to Pensacola, and you know, I immediately, before I even got here, I was stationed in the Virginia Beach, Virginia area. You know, the minute I got orders, I was still active duty. The minute I got orders to Pensacola, you know, I had like 7, 8, 9 months before I was moving. I started networking with agents, investors, using different forums and things online to connect and find the people in that area that were doing deals, that were actually active. I knew the minute I was going to move, I was going to join the local Real Estate Investment Association, right? And the people who were kind of connecting and responding ended up being the people that I partnered with, you know? And so because I reached out, because I let people know that I was moving there, that I was focusing on multifamily and commercial, they saw that as a big thing. Not a whole lot of people are doing that and knew that's exactly what they wanted to do, especially here in the area. And so, I mean, the minute I got here, they already kind of knew, and I came in a couple times to look at properties before I moved here, met with them and had dinner with them and stuff like that. So I put that time in, and then the minute I moved here, 6 months later, you know, closed on the 42 unit property. And that was because I created those partnerships, created those relationships, spent the time, had dinner. We shared our criteria, we shared our long-term vision and goals, and we decided to partner. And a couple of the guys had experience, right? And there's one of the best ways, I think, to get into a large commercial deal without any experience is to partner with people that have experience, right? But somehow add value to the partnership. And that's where increasing your level of self-awareness is going to very, very, very much help you here and help you figure out how you could deliver the most amount of value to a deal and to a partnership. And so because I did that, I mean, went to the RIA meetings in the area religiously every single month, and literally just went up to the front of the room and said my elevator pitch. You know, at our RIA, they allow you to just get up and do a 30-second commercial. So every single time I did that, and not very many people did that. It would be some of the same people and this and that. But because I did that, people in that room knew exactly who I was, what I was doing, and I was the multifamily commercial guy. So they partnered me with other people who are in the industry and other investors and stuff. And we literally raised 90% of the capital that we needed just from that one room, just from our local RIA. And those are kind of the steps that I did in order to make that happen. make that happen for the most part. But yeah, I mean, there's no secret. It's just getting out there and sharing with people what you got going on, and dialing in on your elevator pitch will be helpful if you haven't done that.
So circle completes right here. Initially, you said you can create whatever you want for yourself, as long as you have the clarity and you know your future state. And for you, you had the clarity, what you wanted to do. You knew your future state and you took the massive action. You prepared for that and you made that happen for you. Great. So what inspires you now to keep going or doing whatever you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's really twofold. Number one is, my family and creating a legacy. There's no financial education or anything in our society, in our school system, in our military, especially. And so having this legacy live on, so then future generations are able to just understand how to build wealth, understand how to create generational wealth, freedom, and abundance, right? And I'm doing that through helping other past and present military members create financial freedom. The more people I help, the more military members, past and present, I'm able to help build their own financial foundation, create their own wealth, create their own generational, wealth, through buying more of America, the land that they fight so hard for. That is how I will then continue to be able to thrive and serve my family and their future generations. So it's really those two things: serving the military community, to help them create financial freedom through buying more of America, and by doing so, I will be able to help my family and my future generations with create a repeatable process and education, so they could, for generations after I'm gone, it'll be a repeatable process that they could duplicate.
Also, helping others never go waste. The more you offer help, the more you get back. That's how I've learned in my life as well. So I would like you to share one golden nugget with my audience. It's not like that you didn't share enough already, but one golden nugget more.
Yeah. I think that what you just told me, and one of the most transformational books I've ever read, is called The Go-Giver, right? And success, really, according to that book, there's 5 stratospheric laws of success, and it's all based on giving, right? The more you give, the more you receive. Your income and abundance is tied to the exact amount of value and that you give to other people. Like, you will receive in payment what you give. And so I highly recommend reading that book. I mean, that one nugget will be, we'll just turn that into a book recommendation, because there's nothing better than to focus your business, focus your life, focus your abundance and growth on the amount that you can give in value to other people.
Yeah, I love that. So don't be transactional, right? Offer genuine help. Don't expect all the time, like what other can do for me.
Yeah.
Instead, just think what you can do for the other. So this brings us to our rapid fire round. I have 5 questions for you. You're going to answer in one word or one sentence only.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Who was the most influential person in your life?
Ooh, I would say my grandfather passed away, I mean, 7, 8 years ago. Just a huge inspiration. I didn't really have a father figure growing up. And he was that. I mean, he was the reason why I started playing drums, and he just was an incredible family man, incredible, just, everything. He was always positive, always just did the right thing. And he just set an incredible example. And he's been, for me, it's he's probably had the number one impact in my life from like a role model perspective.
What is the best book you have read or recommend?
Oh man, there's so many, and I'm reading like 4 different ones right now, and then I'm reading different ones on like the 12-minute app just to get like a 12-minute version of them. So, oh man, the best book, that's tough. I already recommended The Go-Giver, so that I gotta just throw out that. But man, for mindset, and if I have to recommend Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And, prior Navy SEAL, African-American, dude, he just had so many trials, tribulations growing up, and just the way he motivates and the way his book is. And if you could listen to it on Audible, I think it's 10 times better, because they actually do like a little mini interview podcast in between each chapter with him, and he goes even deeper. But yeah, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I mean, you think you're making excuses, listen to this dude, and you'll realize, that you really got to level up. Right. So, and he was a chief in the Navy. So that's pretty cool. I could resonate with him, through that lens too.
What is your biggest passion?
I would probably have to go with music, music and drumming. And that's just one of my whys is to be able to, play music and listen to music just all around the world. And I can't really live without music and drumming.
In one word, what does life mean to you?
Oh man, it's a gift.
What is your favorite food?
Strangely, my grandma's Italian spinach. I've always just weirdly had spinach as my favorite food. Now it's been a little different because I've experienced a lot of different foods lately, but it's just my default answer, probably my grandma's Italian spinach.
Great. So how can people reach out to you?
Yeah. Spend a lot of time in the active duty passive income community, on Facebook. But if any of this stuff resonates with you, thetimothykelly.com is just kind of my landing website with all the shenanigans that I'm in. And then Instagram, LinkedIn is also at the Timothy Kelly. But again, if you're listening to this and this resonates with you, just shoot me a text and I'll hop on a call with you for anything that's on your mind. Just shoot me a text and let me know that you heard me on this podcast. And you could reach me at area code 847-910-9161. Just let me know you heard me here, and we'll just hop on a call.
Thanks, Tim. That was super exciting to have you here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
Let me see.